Right, so let's go and look at the store setup and security option for other maintenance. Store setup and security, more maintenance, you'll see here. You've got multiple currencies. Multiple currencies is if you use the system in countries that do allow you to accept multiple currencies, and some South Africa we do not allow, or they don't allow, the government doesn't allow. You might use it in Mozambique and Botswana and so on. Most of those countries, most of the local countries and also overseas would allow their businesses to accept. If you're in Europe, for instance, you will allow to be obviously receive euro, and some businesses might allow you to pay in pound or in dollar for that matter as well. So the idea is here that you can go and set up all the different currencies, and when it prints a bill for the customer, it will print the currencies equivalent at the bottom. So you would be able to go and select your currency options here at the bottom and go and say, fine, I'm in South Africa. Today my exchange rate would be 13.50 for US dollar. My euro would be, argument's sake, I'm not 100% sure what the euro is today, but maybe 19.50. Sorry, I better put the decimals in, 13.5, I think it's the only place in the software that it actually allows you or forces you to put in the decimal. The pound would be, argument's sake, 22.5. And again, this will be your currency. It might not be the bank currency, and that's not the point. You are not a bank. You are offering a service to the customer and saying that yes, you can pay in these currencies. Zimbabwean dollar doesn't exist anymore as far as I know. They call it a bond note or whatever the case may be. So that one we definitely don't want. So if you're not going to use it at all, you might as well just delete it. Okay? And for the same reason, if you're not going to use any of them, delete all of them, and it then won't appear on the receipts anymore. It only appears because you've set it up here. Okay, so that's your currency setup, and again, you will go and maintain that daily, weekly, how often the currency would exchange or exchange will change, and then you'll be able to go and make sure that it's within the limits that you want it to be. All right. Let's go and look at some of the other options, other maintenance, maintain warehouses. Warehouses is what you will set up if you're using or keeping your stock in different sections of the business. In our own business, we've got 4 to 5 warehouses. On these 4 to 5 warehouses, we want to know where the stock lies. In a supermarket, you might have front stock, you might have storerooms at the back, you might even have 5 storerooms, doesn't matter. Okay, so you will say that in storeroom 1, I've got 200 Cokes, and storeroom number 3, I've got 2,000 Cokes, etc., etc. And then, of course, I've got another warehouse which is front of house or the floor area, and in there I have my balance. Okay, so it will break it down and split it up quite easily for you. You can obviously create new warehouses. Please do not create warehouses that you're not going to use. In other words, don't just go and create warehouses because you're not really sure how to set it up. And the reason we say that is, as you can see, no delete option. There's no disable option because, again, there might be history on there. So firstly, and secondly, it actually increases the size of your database quite exponentially, because now it will keep stock of every stock item per warehouse in day and figures and so on. So you could find that your database will explode, double up in a day, because you now suddenly enabled warehouses. If you're going to use it properly, then it doesn't matter what the size of the database is. But if you're just going to say, well, let's go and create 10 warehouses, I might use it in the future, rather not. Okay, so that's the warehouses. Let's just go into one of them, and literally all it allows you to is to put a name in it and the warehouse number. Obviously, they got to be unique numbers. So default warehouse, typically warehouse number 2. So you can't create a warehouse 2 or give it a number 2. Okay. Let's go back. Next one, payout reasons. Quite a nice little feature. When you do payouts in the point of sale, you can actually specify payout reasons, and that's just for you to group your payouts properly. So you might have a payout reason called petrol expenses, and that is every time you take money out of the drawer to pay for petrol, it will then be recorded and grouped together as petrol. You might have another one for wages, for that matter. Okay. Oops, sorry, not wages. And you might have another one for tea, coffee and milk, whatever. Okay, something like that. Alright, so those will be your payout reasons. So when you do a payout in the point of sale programs, either scan or touch, you can then specify which payout reason you're using, so you don't have to type in the same thing over and over again. And you can get a report. Obviously, at the end of the day, you can go to reporting, and when you do your payout detail report, it will then print it out for you per group as well if you had any payouts. All right, this database of mine don't have any, that's why it doesn't show. All right, let's just double check. I think that's about it. No, oh, sorry, the most important one, I suppose, in some countries would be maintain languages. Languages by default, your system is installed with English, and you can go and create any other language that you want to, whether that's now Zulu or Xhosa, any one of the other 11 languages in South Africa, or Swahili or Arabic, as I said in other videos and so on, anywhere that you might want to. So you can just simply click on New. There's also a way that you can actually import the languages. We've done a couple of languages preloaded for customers, Portuguese, one of them, German, Dutch we've done. Top of my head, those are the three. Of course, and Arabic we've done as well for our many customers in Dubai and surrounding areas. So the beauty of this is obviously you can go and put in a language, and you can go and say, argument's sake, whatever. Let's just say Swahili for want of a better name. Not putting any rank on anybody here, so please don't be offended if I didn't mention your language. But now you can go and change any language. As you can see, we're on the back of a section. I can go and change the word tax to something else that I want to do. All right, and I can go and call it IVA, which is now Portuguese and used in Mozambique. But that will give you an example or an idea of how you can use it. Then you've also got all your point of sale parameters, and it tells you whether that's part of the login screens or the main screen or the tender buttons or whatever. And again, if you change it here properly and you update it properly, it will work nicely. And the same applies to the touchscreen. You can go and change it over there, and that will now become your new language. Okay, so sorry, let's just go back and type my name again. Sorry, Swahili. And I'm going to go exit, and now you'll see I've got a Swahili language in there. If I go back in there, obviously the text is now called EVA, etc., etc. And the last thing on that part of it, if you are going to use this option, store setup and security general parameters, right here at the bottom, you can go and select your languages then, and that will become the language that your system will run in. Okay, so you might decide that in the point of sale I want a different language because my cashiers are Chinese or whatever country, language, culture they come from, or Filipino or something like that. And but my back office I want to keep in English. That's again, it's a choice. You can chop and change as you wish. Works quite well. Customers quite happy with the option. Developed and designed many years ago. Enjoy.